Hello friends, welcome to Audiobook Daily. Today we'll talk about the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey, published in 1989. Aman had it all, a well-paying job in Dubai, a beautiful apartment, and a reputation as the guy who gets things done. But behind the polished LinkedIn profile, he was falling apart. His days started at 6 a.m. with a flurry of emails, traffic, meetings, and endless, urgent messages. He worked late every night, convincing himself that exhaustion was success. Then one evening his 8-year-old daughter asked, "Papa, are you coming to my school play tomorrow?" Without looking up from his laptop, Aman said, "I'll try." He didn't make it. When he got home that night, he found a drawing on his desk. It was her on stage, holding a mic, with a note underneath. "I looked for you in the crowd." That was the night Aman realized he wasn't living effectively. He was just busy. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey isn't a book about hacks or productivity tricks. It's a guide to transforming your mindset from being reactive and overwhelmed to being clear, proactive, and purposeful. Covey divides personal growth into 3 stages. Keycap 1 Dependence, relying on others. Keycap 2 Independence, taking control of yourself. Keycap 3 Interdependence, working effectively with others. Let's walk through the 7 habits that helped Aman, and millions of others, rediscover balance and effectiveness. Habit 1. Be proactive. Covey says, "You are not a product of your circumstances. You are a product of your decisions." Aman realized he had been reacting to everything, clients, deadlines, messages, instead of acting with intention. Being proactive means taking responsibility. It's not, "I can't," it's, "I will find a way." It's shifting from victim to creator, focusing on what you can control, not what you can't. That's where true power begins. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Before you climb the ladder of success, make sure it's leaning against the right wall. Covey challenges us to visualize our own funeral. What would you want people to say about your life, your character, your contribution? Aman started asking, what kind of father, leader, and person do I want to be remembered as? This clarity changed everything. He wrote a personal mission statement, not about money or promotions, but about being present, disciplined, and kind. Habit 3. Put first things first. This is where most people fail. They focus on what's urgent, not what's important. Covey's time matrix explains it clearly. Quadrant I, urgent and important, crises. Quadrant 2, not urgent but important, planning, family, health. Quadrant 3, urgent but not important, distractions. Quadrant 4, neither, scrolling, gossip. Aman realized his life was stuck in Quadrant I, always firefighting. He began scheduling time in Quadrant 2, morning workouts, dinner with family, strategic thinking at work. The result? He wasn't working more hours. He was working better hours. The key is not to prioritize your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Habit 4. Think win-win. In leadership, Covey teaches, life isn't a zero-sum game. Win-win means building relationships where everyone grows. Aman began empowering his team instead of micromanaging them. When they succeeded, he succeeded. When they struggled, he coached instead of criticized. Win-win created trust, and trust created results. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. One day, Aman had an argument with a team member who felt unheard. He remembered Covey's line, "Most people listen with the intent to reply, not to understand." So, he stopped defending himself and just listened. Within minutes, the tension faded. For the first time, his colleague felt respected. That day, Aman learned, listening is leadership. Habit 6. Synergize. Synergy means combining strengths so the outcome is greater than the sum of its parts. At work, Aman started brainstorming sessions where everyone contributed ideas freely. At home, he involved his wife and daughter in decisions. It wasn't about control anymore. It was about collaboration. The more he trusted others, the more everything flowed naturally. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Covey ends with a reminder, effectiveness isn't permanent. To stay effective, You must renew yourself regularly, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Aman began waking up early for meditation, taking short breaks during work, reading daily, and spending Sundays phone-free with his family. These weren't luxuries. They were fuel for long-term success. We must never become too busy sawing to take time to sharpen the saw. Months later, Aman sat in the front row at his daughter's school concert. When she spotted him in the crowd, she waved, smiling from the stage. That simple moment meant more than any deadline he'd ever met. He had finally learned that success isn't about being busy. It's about being effective in your work, your relationships, and your purpose. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People isn't about achieving more. It's about becoming more focused, more peaceful, more intentional. When you build habits on principles, success follows naturally. Because effectiveness isn't a skill. It's a way of living. Thank you for listening. See you in next Audiobook Daily.